So next, let's talk about NodeJS. Node is the lightweight web server that we're going to use, and it's built in Google's V8 JavaScript engine, which is the rendering engine for Chrome. It's extremely lightweight and efficient. And as you can see here, these are all the lines that it would take to just start running a server. I'm not going to do this right now because Stephen's going to demo this later on his module, and I don't want to steal his thunder. But as you can see, it's extremely simple. You just require the modules that you need, and you create a server. You just say, hey, create a server, run it on this port, listen on this port, and this is what you'll send as the response to your clients. And as you can see, it's just sending hello world. It's extremely simple.
Super easy.
Yeah. And you'll install Node.js by actually going to the Node.js website and clicking download. Obviously, a bit more difficult than just linking to a file from Angular. But you can actually download the pretty easy Windows installers here, and you can also download the binaries if you care to look at them. As it notes here, if you want to build from source, you'll need Python 2.6 or 2.7, but I just recommend getting the installer for today if you don't have it already.
Yeah, most OSs are actually supported just right out of the box. They have binaries for. You could just, and especially if you're using Ubuntu, or if you're using CentOS, Debian-based systems and Fedora-based systems, they have package managers which will just pull the version for you, and you could just do like apt install to install the version of Node that you want, and it'll just get going. If you are using a Debian system like Ubuntu or something, do note that the module will be called NodeJS and not Node, like we'll be using on Windows. So just a FYI.
Awesome. And next, let's talk about Express. Now, Express and Node.js are kind of linked almost completely and tightly. And that's because it's actually a Node module. We're going to get into exactly what modules mean for Node, but basically Express is a really, really thin layer on top of Node that makes it much easier to interact with. So whereas you saw it in our code before, we have to manually talk about what we're going to send as the headers, and things like that. In Express, a lot of that will be sort of magicked away for you and abstracted away so that your calls are just so much more simple. This is especially true if you're making a lot of HTTP requests like we're going to do. We're also going to, of course, build out an API using Express because that's what we're going to use for all of our routing needs.
So it's going to be a web API?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
And we're going to layer our authentication piece on top of Express in large cases as well. Express also helps you organize your Node app into an easy and cohesive MVC structure. So your routes will be in one place, your views will be in another place, your logic will be elsewhere, and that just, again, organizes your code such that it's a lot easier than having one monolithic JavaScript file for your server, for instance. So you'll install Express, as I said before, once you've installed Node. We're going to get into NPM later on, but that's basically the module library that comes with Node that you could, the Node package manager that you can actually install these modules from.
So that's similar to like pip for Python, or I guess
Gems for
Ruby, or NuGet for .NET. It's just a package manager which allows you to not necessarily source control your packages, and we'll talk about this more. And instead, you can just keep a manifest, and it'll just install them whenever you need them.
Yeah. And as you can see here, once you have Node installed, it's pretty easy. You just call the package manager, and you say, hey, I want to install Express.